Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer. Welcome back to PCM23 Lions, episode 151. Getting closer to the end of La Vuelta. It's stage 16 of 21. This, on paper, should be a sprint stage, but on paper they put it as a punchy stage, and so that little bit of undulation out there has done damage, but most everybody's still in the peloton, 147 riders, and I think a lot of sprinters are going to be contenders for the stage. There's one hill beyond the one we're climbing right now on the way to the finish line, and if anything's going to happen, it's going to happen there, especially at this point, because with such a large peloton still intact, that's the last place it literally can happen besides just a regular sprint to the finish line. With 11.8k, I'm going to go ahead and put my foot down and get out there. So as we get set to stretch the field here, for one thing, I put a shimway in the brake today, but the breakaway has been reeled in. He was in that brake. It was not an easy brake to establish, and it's funny. I go 99 and we lose gap, but I suppose that might have had something to do with running out of energy. As we chase down a couple of guys here, a shimway, though the breakaway failed, we did succeed at one thing. We took the intermediate sprint and gained 6 seconds. So worst case scenario, we have picked up 6 seconds today as we've burnt through our first two guys quite quickly, 7k, and we're about to hit that little bit of a hill. This is where that real proper stretch will happen, if it's going to happen. Can we drop some riders? Can we split the field? Can we see somebody caught out? Anoke is done. Onto Benuna. We've dropped 10 riders. 12 riders as we head over the top here. 4k. $96, 77. We have split some off. 1.9 onto Arab. In fact, he can start sprinting. We've set ourselves up for a little bit of an advantage here. Gregoire wins another stage. But Samuels and Arab second and third with Shimway and Benuna just behind them. I think that's worked out pretty well for us. Shimway gains 6 seconds in the break. Arab gains 4 seconds on the stage. And Samuels gains 6 seconds on the stage. And apparently there was a group of 40 at the finish. Even if nobody else is caught out, we got some bonuses today. No gaps given until 71st position, so that gap after 40th was not given, which makes me think no one in the top 20 should have lost any time. Reinderink did not lose time. Shimway just overtook him because of the time gains. But Arab is now 5:02 down. Samuels is 12 seconds down. I'm not too worried about Gregoire. I don't feel like we're in contention to win the race. Gregoire has been freaking crazy all race long, but Almeida, Gregoire, Vingegaard are kind of the top favorites. I'm really trying to just break that top 5 or maybe, just maybe, squeeze onto that podium. So stealing some seconds away from other riders is a big plus for us, and still having Gregoire in the jersey keeps the pressure off of us. We're done with these kind of stages though, so it's going to get more intense from here. Stage 17 is the penultimate mountain stage as Mason Samuels crashes. He is up. Benuna's on his way back to him, and he's working on recovering his position. This is 17. 18 is a big mountain stage. Today's not the hardest of mountain stages, but it's certainly not the easiest with 3 climbs. Just not necessarily the longest or steepest climbs we're going to face. Narvaez, who was involved in that crash, is out of the race. This is one of those shorter stages. We're already down inside 100 kilometers on this one, and the breakaway had Lucas Wells, who's 10th overall, and other riders in the teens, but they're already being caught. This is not the kind of day to get in the break. I tried with Matoni just once. It was pretty clear that they were not interested in him being in the break. And I was seeing how things were getting treated and decided I'd better sit this one out. Samuels is going to push a little bit harder on this climb for 2 reasons. One, he's further behind, so his position matters. He's just into the middle third of the peloton. But two, and more importantly here, his ratings. Well, as important, I'll say his ratings. He took a -5 draw today. He's supposed to have a +5. He ends up on a 0 race take condition. So a -5 draw for second place overall, Mason Samuels. This is a day where he's going to lose time. Guaranteed. This climb's going to be really important for him. Benuna is going to be the one to get water, but I really want to protect Samuels for this climb as long as possible. He is making progress, though, back into position, so we're going to ease off a little bit. Wait until we get closer to the top, and then I'll send Benuna to get the water. 4K from the top now. Samuels has gotten that assistance most of the way. For Benuna, it sucks that he had to go forward and then go back, but that is the role of a domestique. Isaacs is beginning to fade, and Habtum. Here on this first climb, they're already struggling. Peloton's actually already shrinking, 151. Just 2 riders left of the breakaway. Which 2 is it? It's Palace, and it's Cameraman. No, it's not, but Simmerman. 75 overall, 31st. Just a 2-minute advantage for those guys, and we've reached the top. Habtum. Isaacs will remain in the group, and Benuna has already gone past him and already finished the water task. 140 left in the peloton, 2 left off the front, 1 climb out of the way. 10K to go on the climb, same climb that we're going to hit again. Doesn't start too bad, but it does get quite steep. It's definitely not an easy climb, but with it being a little bit on the shorter side, it, makes it not so bad. We're through a relatively easy phase of it now. Here is where it turns and gets difficult, and it's only 7.5K, so really not as bad as it could be. We got full recovery for 6 riders. Habtum and Isaacs, who did not make it through the first one and faded. They only got halfway recovered on the descent. I'm pretty sure they are not going to make it. We're going to be down to 6 riders by the time we hit the top this time. So I think I'm going to go ahead and use the gel for Isaacs and Habtum now. Pace is not bad. In fact, the 2 riders in the break, they had a 2-minute advantage. It's suddenly 4. Looks like we're setting this up for all 141 to make it over the top of the climb. Yeah, those 2 riders have pulled out nearly 3 minutes. I certainly don't mind. But Palace is 13:45. I really don't want him gaining time here, and he's looking like he's gonna gain time. So Habtum, final kilometer. Let's put that foot down a little bit and stop the gains. Mater after the KOM points. Let's go ahead and set up, let Habtum recover 50K. We need to get water again. So let Habtum go back and do it. It'll help him recover that much faster. 554 to those guys. Somebody's got to start chasing, and I might just have to sacrifice a rider to help with that. I'm not interested in those 2 gaining, well, either of them, but especially Palace gaining significant time today and threatening our position, because right now Tony's 21st, Ashimwe is 16th, so Ashimwe is the next rider behind him in the standings, so it wouldn't hurt us per se. Just makes it a hell of a lot harder to chase down one of the riders ahead of him. But Peloton split 67. Something happened on the descent there. 1.5-minute advantage too. That is not small. And it's growing rapidly. 73 riders have been dropped, and it looks like we're not going to see them again, most likely. 4 more riders are dropped. We're slowly gaining on those 2, but they're, I don't know, 5 minutes. I think that's going to be enough. I think that's going to be enough for them to hang on, or at least gain time over a lot of the riders. But as we head towards the finishing climb, 25k left, just 60 in the peloton and shrinking, and we're at full strength. Isaacs, Haptum are definitely a bit tired, but overall we're looking pretty dang good for this late in the tour. Well, I love Vuelta, be specific. Yes, it is a Grand Tour. 3 more riders are dropped. Okay, start preparing for the climb to come. We'll try 80 as a start point to help hold position. Down to 50 riders. And down to 4 minutes at the front. Big acceleration. We might be beginning this climb fully intact, but this is a peloton that's going to blow up very quickly. It kind of already is, right? We went from 140 down to 50 over what was a flat terrain. But now that we're climbing, the way the tempo is, it's looking pretty intense. We are drifting just a little bit, but with 9k to go, you really don't want to push it too hard. The front two are already down to 250. We've already cut into half that gap very early in the climb. It looks like they're going to get swallowed up quite early. So Shimway could be headed for a 15th place. But he's only got a +2 today. Samuels only has the 0. So 2 very key guys. Haptum, why are you not protecting Matoni? Ooh, this is the back of the group. This is the back of the group. 85. Banuna is protecting Shimway. 82, we're down to 6.7. We're not gaining on the front 2 right now, so the pace has lifted a bit. And now we're starting to recover that position. Speaking of, Arab's still holding up just fine. We're going to go just a little faster here. Banana gel. Haptum is protecting Matoni. That's going to be the first rider going solo. We're going to use his gel. Haptum's gone. Isaacs was protecting who? There goes Isaacs. Piganzoli, 22nd overall now. Gosh, he was on the podium at one point. Reinderink, 17th overall, is getting dropped. Shimway. Gel for him. Carlos Rodriguez is only 112th. That's surprising. Fortunato's 30th. Shimway is hanging on to the group here, but Kurtz is getting dropped. Rubio and McLean getting dropped. Bermudez, 14th overall, getting dropped. 3.8k. Whoa, buddy. All right. Samuels, gel, Hanoke, gel. No! Oh my gosh. It's right here. It's 1 bike length. 1 bike length. Arab, go forward, 3.8k. Now, by the time we come out of that group, it's definitely more than 1 bike length. But Hanoke. Oh, I did that. I did that wrong, but okay. Goodbye, Hanoke. On to Arab. Samuels is losing time. We are overtaking riders. Let's get another check-in up ahead of Hanoke. Kemp, 19th overall. Bernal, 28th. Wells, 10th. He was in the break. Gall, 13th. Vingegaard, 6th. Sicardi, 12th. Here's Arab in 8th. Almeida is losing ground in 3rd. Pellizzari, 7th. Davida, 9th. Petrovic, 4th. Gregoire, of course. And Carlos Rodriguez. That's why I was confused there earlier. There was Christian Rodriguez, now Carlos. That's still Palace off the front. So there's 5 riders. 1 off the back. We're 7th right now on the road, and Arab can climb faster than this. Can Arab ditch these guys? Yes, he can. 1.1k. Or at least he ditched a few of the guys. Yeah, there's Bridge the Gap. And we're going to catch most of these guys. Palace has won the stage. Carlos Rodriguez has taken second ahead of Gregoire. Sprint. We're going to get 5th on the stage. You know, it just about worked out. And Noak for a top 15. Oh, 16. Vingegaard was 15th on the stage, lost a ton of time. Samuels, among those losing quite a bit of time today. That's going to be a shakeup. That was like 5 minutes from Paulus to Samuels. Paulus was a minute or two ahead. So 3 minutes lost is my guess. Arab recovered really well there at the end. How does Lucas Wells get 5th? How did Wells get 5th? He was in the breakaway, and he was not in the final 2, right? That was Paulus. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how he pulled that off. I guess he decided to save his energy and drop back to the group. But Vingegaard loses a ton of time today. That's one of the key guys. That's one of the 2 guys with the really, really good time trial rating. Almeida is the other, so he got 4th, so he's still a threat. And Gregoire looks as strong as ever. We've seen one day where he didn't look OP. He looks like he's at a +5 every single day. Arab at a +5, but they also have the extra bonus on top and start ahead of us to begin with. Arab is 9th in terms of favorites on paper, not counting all those +4s that all these other guys have. I'm pretty happy with the final result. I'm a little disappointed that he lost that ground and had to, climb his own pace, but again, that attack and following might have gone differently and might have used up more energy, but I think we're probably 20 seconds further up. We're ahead of Wells instead of, behind him. Maybe it's 10 seconds. Very little difference in the end because the energy to be with those guys would have strained things a little bit. I was too busy paying attention to the whole team instead of just him. As predicted, it was at least a minute to Carlos Rodriguez. Minute 22 to Gregoire. Almeida was 128. Arab 148. We tied Wells anyway, so we were on the same time. 154 to the chase group, so we only gained 6 seconds over those particular riders, but that was a group that we overtook, other than maybe one going with us. Bernal, 20 seconds behind us. Gall, Vingegaard, over a minute and a half. Minute 41. Hanouk had a great day. Samuels, 4:27 down. So he loses at most 3 minutes. On average, about 2 minutes to a lot of riders, or 2.5 actually. Anis Shimwe, 4:33. So both of those guys without strong bonuses perform just a bit worse. So we're now looking at Gregoire leading the race. Of course, Mr. I can't have an off day. But Almeida is up to second, minute 43 down on the overall. Carlos Rodriguez is onto the podium at 2:25, up 2 spots from where he was. Petrovic keeps his 4th position, and Samuels drops to 5th. 3:21 down, also pending a good 5 minutes lost in the time trial at the end. However, 5 minutes lost is still top 10 territory, especially when others will also lose some time. I think Samuels can hang on to a top 10. He needs a much better race day condition for tomorrow, which is an even harder stage. Pellizzari, 5:18. Arab up a spot to 7th at 5:32. That's still a good position. The biggest problem for him right now is the gap. It's 3 minutes to the top 4. I think right now we're fighting for 5th place. And Pellizzari is a poor enough time trialist that Arab, as long as we are still in a touching distance, like 14 seconds, easy peasy, no problem. That's Sammy Arab for 5th place. Petrovic, 3 minutes behind him. That's going to be hard. Carlos Rodriguez, we're not going to catch. Almeida, we're not going to catch. And Gregoire, we're not going to catch. Petrovic is a bad enough time trialist that maybe, just maybe, could we gain 3 minutes? Well, if we have our +5 on that final day, if we gain a little time tomorrow or somewhere in the last couple of stages, like if we're less than 3 minutes down into that final stage, possibly, especially if we have the race day condition. So 4th is not impossible. 5th feels likely right now for Sammy Arab, where Samuels, I think we can keep a top 10. Davida, 6:08 down, not a threat in the time trial either. Vingegaard, who is now 6:48 down. Clearly, Vingegaard, without a doubt, did not have the race day condition today. This was not a matter of him getting beat. Like, he had a bad day, which means probably not even like a 0 race day condition. It looks like he might have had a negative just on how things played out. And Lucas Wells, I have no freaking clue what just happened with this guy. How he could have been, and he's only a 78 mountain to begin with, too. He's got to be having +5s. He's put in some crazy performances. To be in the break for 2/3 of the stage, 3/4 of the stage, and to hang on for 4th on the stage in the group. Like, what? How was he not 5 minutes behind? But Ashimwe is 17th. He dropped 1 spot. Kemp moving up ahead of him. And Matoni moves up 1 spot to 20th. So those two are still in a threatening position. They're still in a decent position. Ashimwe, this episode, moved up 1, moved down 1. So he's essentially come out neutral where he was. And he's definitely in a position where he could move up to 15th. He's a decent time trialist, but so is Kemp and Bermudez. Gall is pretty bad. Sicardi's terrible. There's a couple guys that could go down quite a ways. Ortega could definitely go down. Wow, I didn't realize he was so bad. Matoni's one of the best time trialists. He's probably the 2nd or 3rd best time trialist in the top 20. He can absolutely gain 2-3 minutes over some rivals. So Ashimwe and Matoni both could still potentially move up a little bit and have a decent finish, but it's the top position. It's that top seat that matters the most. And Samuels, if he didn't have such a bad race day condition, he would certainly be at least a minute better off right now and still be on the podium. If not 2 minutes better off right now. Inevitably, he was going to lose time, right? Arab would have finished ahead of him, and pretty decent result there. 1 more big climbing stage to go, and then we'll get into the final couple after that. Pretty quick ones. That is going to do it for this episode, though. 4 stages to go. 2 of them light stages and a time trial, and 1 big mountain stage. Maybe 2 episodes we're looking at. I don't think I'm going to go past La Vuelta. I'm not worried about the end of season rankings this year. So, yeah, that's where we're at with this one. PCM24 right around the corner anyway. That's going to do it for this one. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Be safe out there. Bye for now.